HawkTalk continues from Catahoula. It's Mike Hammett with you. HawkTalk brought to you by St. Francis Medical Center. They're suited up and ready to meet your unique healthcare needs. They put in the hard work because when it comes to your health, every day is game day. St. Francis Medical Center is proud to be the official medical provider of ULM Athletics. Talking now with Shawn Dalton Weatherbee. We'll be rejoined by head coach Mike Federico for our final segment, and then our Sun Belt Conference look at that as well as the standings and what's coming up this weekend. But Shawn D., welcome. Glad to have you with us. And, year number 2 here at ULM. And, this season has been wild. The bus breaking down Thursday and getting on the way to Norfolk and getting there. But then the plane ride there and back and all that. Now, I start with this trip. I know you're one of the Mississippi guys, and Coach Fed last week, and I asked him about guys that maybe are flying for the first time. He said probably some of the Mississippi guys anyway. So Were you one of them that hadn't flown before, or had you been on a plane before?
I flew a little bit a few years ago when I played summer ball in Wichita, Kansas. So I flew back and forth a few times to come back home and went on a trip with Mom and Dad at the beach. But, yeah, I flew a little bit. So
Now, see, you guys, there's been past teams here at ULM. They really gave guys a hard time on their first flight anyway. There were guys shaking chairs and guys that are on the flight and all that. You guys seem to take it pretty easy on those guys this week, though.
I know. Davo's the only one Davo and DuPont's the only one that I know that happened. But we was giving them heck before we took out Jackson the other day. But Davo was the turbulence was scaring him, I know for sure. But
to have these 2 seasons here at ULM, you came in here and everyday center fielder just about last year. This year you moved to right field with some of the depth that's been added with a guy like Bryce Blazer and Easton Winfield out in left field. And I know you've been battling an injury throughout the season too, and now getting a chance to DH and kind of take care of yourself in that regard as well. Just first of all, to speak to the depth of this outfield. I mean, there are playmakers. When you talk about a guy like Cardell Thibodeau that was almost an everyday guy last year, and he's kind of coming in as a defensive guy at times and whatnot. Just how is that depth in the outfield, and how well do you guys all get along and know that, you're waiting for your turn and be ready when it's your time, too?
Right. We got some studs and Blazer and Easton that came in. I knew that it was going to be challenging to get on the field with them, but I knew I was probably going to be competing for a DH spot at the end of the day. But, DH is definitely a lot easier on my knees and stuff. All the football and stuff I've played, I feel like I'm body's kind of wore down, old man. But I don't know. DH is definitely a lot easier, and I'm enjoying it right now.
You are one of those fifth-year guys anyway, coming in here after 3 years at Northeast Mississippi, and then you come in here for the final 2 years of your career. And you were that, like you said, a dual sport guy in your past anyway at Northeast Mississippi. And how challenging is that at the collegiate level? Like high school kids do it all the time, but that's high school. Right. How difficult was that at the JUCO level?
Man, it was like you had no time off. I had like 1 month out of the year, the 2 years that I played both in JUCO, and I had like 1 month out of the year that I didn't have nothing to do. And we played all throughout the fall, and we just played football. We practiced all through fall camp and stuff, and then as soon as I got done with football season, I went straight to baseball, and then baseball season was over. I was back in the summer workouts for football. I was like, I didn't have any time off. But it was definitely a job that you didn't get paid for, and JUCO was definitely a grind, especially playing both.
You go back to your high school days and playing football and all that too. 5,000 all-purpose yards, 102 touchdowns, all that. To go back in those high school days, there's a lot of good talent in Mississippi and whatnot too. Just what's your favorite memory of playing football, whether it's JUCO or high school, and maybe your favorite game that you remember?
My first game in college, actually, I got in by midway through the second quarter. My first JUCO game, and first carry, we was like on, I don't know, I can't remember where it was. It was like a 70-yard touchdown. My first carry ever in college, took it to the house right up the middle, so that's pretty memorable. And later on that game, I actually scored the game-winning touchdown, my first college football game. So that's probably what I'd have to say would be my most memorable. And, yeah.
As far as, too, to play in that league over there, obviously the Mississippi JUCO League is one of the best ones out there, up there with Kansas as well. And, you go out there and you're competing against, East Mississippi, which is on Last Chance U years ago and all that. Just How difficult was the competition at Mississippi JUCO level?
Man, I mean, it wasn't nothing like high school. Like, I mean, high school, I mean, I played 1A ball, but just a grind. But, I mean, it's, I don't know, like in high school, I'd have a hole or something that would, I'd get it wide open hole. I'd take it to the house. In high school, I mean, it'd be a wide open hole, and then, I mean, you would literally get like 5 to 10 yards. It was just, man, everybody was just more physical and athletic. And just, I don't know, it was definitely some big guys for sure.
Do you miss anything about football?
Yeah, there's nothing like, I mean, high school Friday Night Lights. There's nothing like that.
Yeah.
I mean, football it's awesome. It's definitely, I love football actually better than baseball, but I knew I'd probably have a better chance, in baseball. But I mean, hopefully, gonna get into coaching and probably coach football. But that's the plan right now. But who knows?
Baseball's easier on the knees too.
Yeah,
though.
for sure. Yeah, that's why I got bad knees for sure for football.
Well, I mean, you've had some plays this year. I mean, too, that when you were still out in right field, laying it on the line. I know Georgia State was one of those series, too. I mean, you got roughed up out there in right field a couple of times, too. But you've been a guy, too. You always put it on the line. It doesn't matter what the situation is, how you're feeling. How tough is it sometimes to just keep grinding, keep pushing through when you're hurt and you're banged up? And I know, like I said, you've been kind of playing hurt all year this year.
Yeah, I mean, this is my last year. I might as well just lay it on the line and go out strong. And I mean, some of the hard, like I have to stretch and do mobility stuff all the time, ice baths, and I have to go the extra mile for sure to even stay on the field each and every day. But
Coach Kyle Kilgo comes in this year after fall ball and now is kind of giving you guys a fresh set of eyes on what you're doing offensively and what you're looking for from opposing pitchers and things like that. How has Coach Kilgo impacted your approach at the plate this season, and how have you handled that?
Man, he's definitely got some different stuff that I've never really heard of. I wish I'd have heard of earlier in my career for sure. He's definitely a talker, and he definitely knows what he's talking about. But, I mean, definitely for some of the younger guys have definitely got a bright future with him playing. And just, I don't know, he's a heck of a coach.
You get him back out there and this team, you guys have kind of been grinding a little bit, trying to get something going offensively. You've been one of those guys that, your ability to draw walks in recent weeks. Of course, you've worn pitches forever here, but your ability to draw those walks the last couple of weeks, and then in particular Saturday, you go 0 for 1, but you're on base 4 times with 2 walks and hit by a pitch twice in that ball game. Just how well are you seeing the ball right now? Because it seems like with those walks, you're seeing the ball pretty well.
I'm seeing it pretty well. I mean, I'm just trying to hunt something in the zone that I'm covering, and just just seeing the ball well and just trying to hunt a fastball and just try not to chase down with breakers and stuff and not the elevated fastball. Just trying to hunt really early like I usually do. But I don't know. I'm seeing it well. I'm glad I'm getting some walks because I didn't really have any until about 2 weeks ago or a week ago, something like that. But, yeah.
You've been hit by a pitch a ton. You set the tied the single season record last year, 23. It's now up to 14 this year. So you got a few weeks to get hit 9 more times again. But, as you stand in there, and I mean, you got to make a little bit of an effort and all that, but is that a point of pride with you too in being able to wear some pitches, or how do you kind of take that?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I mean, if the ball's coming out, I'm not getting out of the way. So, I mean, that's just kind of my thing. I'm kind of known for that, the past 2 years with some of the guys that's still on the team. But, I don't know, heck, I may get to 9. I don't know what the school record is, but for careers, but maybe I can push that. I mean,
I just said this weekend on the air, too, when you got hit, I said, I don't know that we have the career record because I think I looked last year. But I said, you know what, you got to be awfully close if you're not there.
Yeah.
But getting hit by a pitch, that's a lot easier than getting hit by a linebacker, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. It's definitely running through a hole and meeting a 6'5", 240-pound linebacker. I'd definitely rather get hit by a pitch for sure.
Well, you guys have an opportunity here down the stretch. Georgia Southern comes in this weekend, go to South Alabama next week, Arkansas State to wrap it up. I know it's one game at a time approach, but to know that this team, if you guys take care of business, you can still find your way to Montgomery, and that's something you haven't experienced as a player to go to that conference tournament. Just how important are these last 3 weekends for this team to find its way and earn its way to Montgomery?
We still have a chance for sure. I mean, we really need to take all 3 of these next 3 series, the rest to finish out the year for sure and get to Montgomery. But I'm going to take pride in it because, I mean, last year we was already out of the hunt at this point if you look at some things. But I don't know. Hopefully we can get 2 out of 3 this weekend with Georgia Southern. A tough team for sure. They're playing well right now. And just go on the road, have one more road trip, and or guaranteed one more road trip, and just go and have fun and play each and every day, and just enjoy every day at the field.
You are just like a lot of other guys on this team, big into the outdoors and all that. How does the outdoors help this team bond when you guys can get away from the field and go hunting, fishing, whatever it is you guys do?
Man, we go fishing. Man, Davo's been fishing over on the bayou a few times, and we just go out there and on our off days and sometimes and just chill. And Barlow and Burrell, all them duck hunt. I don't duck hunt as much, but I mean we're always talking about it. Davo duck hunts, but Bo, he's always with us. Man, he's crazy, but yeah, man, we just bond over it. We have a bunch of guys that really get along, and it's been a fun year so far.
You mentioned coaching, though, and all that. I mean, just as you look to that next chapter, like you said, coaching football is one of those things. Is baseball something you want to stick around too? Or you wanting to look in high school level, college? What are you kind of looking at there?
I'd like to get into high school football, but I mean, I'd definitely coach baseball. I mean, it's just I would prefer to, probably get into football on the football side, but I'm definitely probably looking into coaching. We're going to teach PE this next year after ball, but yeah.
That's you don't get roughed up as much coaching football, hopefully, as long as you got your head on a swivel and get out of the way on the sideline. But Shawn D, congrats. Great career here at ULM so far. Hopefully get you playing here past the next few weeks, get you to Montgomery, and best of luck rest of the way, and looking forward to what's ahead for you.
Yes, sir.
Shawn Dalton Weatherbee with us here on Hawk Talk.